Looks like your kid left kindergarten early. Did he catch a cold? Can you stop calling him kid? But he did catch a cold. I see. Poor people don't have money to go to the hospital, do they? If you're in trouble, I can lend you some money. I can give you a couple $1,000s. No thanks, I'm not in need of money. Why can't you just say thank you? I'm doing you a favor. Because I don't want it. We're not as poor as you think, Nadia. Even though you live in that shabby house. The other day at lunch, only one of us ordered the cheapest menu. My house looks old on the outside, but it's beautiful on the inside. And you said you ordered the cheapest menu because I'm a vegetarian, right? Yes, yes, yes. No need to make excuses. I would have helped you if you had just told me you were in need of money. I don't need your help. I can handle it myself. I see. But don't come to our hospital by mistake. Huh? It's wrong for you to choose patients, isn't it? You're just a receptionist. We are a hospital that specializes in celebrities. We don't accept poor people like you. Whenever a poor person comes in, we always turn them away. Oh, really? Of course, it's true. My job is to keep order in a celebrity hospital. Try having poor people come into that hospital. It'll turn into a shithole hospital with all the poor people coming in. A shithole hospital. Nadia, you'll lose your job if you do that. No, I won't. If anything, I'm doing it for the good of the hospital. Are you serious? Of course I am. So don't bring your son here. Don't be selfish. It's funny that the hospital chooses its patients in the first place. What if a patient loses his life because of you? That's then and there, isn't it? It doesn't hurt to have fewer poor people in the world. The poor are just a burden to the country. That's a terrible thing to say. I can't believe someone like you works in a hospital. Shut up. So, how's your son doing? He's resting at home with a low fever. If his fever rises, I'll take him to the hospital. Don't make the mistake of coming to our hospital. I'll refuse to accept you if you come. If you do that, Nadia, you'll be in a lot of pain, okay? And if you're behaving the same way to other patients, you'd better change your behavior. Listen, don't get cocky with me, you poor thing. Nadia, please don't treat us like we're poor based on your own assumptions. It makes me feel bad when you look down on me like that every time. That's my line. Huh? Why do you say that? I hate poor people. Poor people are dirty, greedy for money, and whenever they don't like something, they try to solve it with violence, right? And they say that most criminals are poor. I don't want to have anything to do with such petty people. If that's the case, I'll stay away from Miss Nadia. I don't like it when people disrespect me or my family. I'm trying to help you, but you're not being honest. No one asked you to help me. Well then, I'm going to concentrate on taking care of my son, so if you'll excuse me. The next day. Hey, why did you do that? I was just doing my job, so as not to disturb the order at the celebrity hospital. We don't want poor parents like you. I warned you yesterday not to come to my hospital. It's your fault for ignoring my advice and coming here like this. What's that? You brought a dirty kid with you, so I turned him away. I don't care if he has a fever of 40 degrees or not. The son of a poor idiot parent will get better in his own bed. Don't ever come into the hospital again. I'll call the director's father and have him take care of it. What? Who's the director's father? My father. No, what are you talking about? Your father's the director, or are you kidding me? That's what I'm talking about. Picking and choosing your patients and turning away patients you don't like. You're the worst kind of medical professional. I'll tell my father about you and have him fire you. Wait a minute. Is it true that your father is the director? Yes, his last name and mine are the same. But Smith is a common last name. And Tracy is married, isn't she? If so, shouldn't she have changed her last name? Did you know that my husband works at the hospital? You mean that handsome doctor? The good-looking doctor? You mean Dr. Smith Sherrill, who also did modeling work in college? Yes, that's my husband. You didn't know that until now. I only work as a receptionist, so I hardly have anything to do with the teachers inside. So I didn't know the details. I see. Well, if you had known, you wouldn't have acted like that towards me. But why were you living in that shabby house when your father runs such a big hospital? Dr. Smith is known as the best doctor in the hospital. He must be paid well, right? Sure, he gets more than enough money. My husband gives me a good living and I'm grateful for that. Then why do you live in that house? I don't think I'd go out of my way to live in a shabby house. I think the main reason is that it's close to the hospital. Besides, neither my husband nor I are interested in living in luxury. We decided to rent this house because we thought a house with a yard would give our son a chance to play outside. And it was a rental house. Yes, it was. There's nothing wrong with renting a house, right? Well, yes, but I always had this image of rich people living in condos and mansions. I've never heard of rich people living in rental houses. Really? Just because you have money, it doesn't mean that everyone likes to live a luxurious life. I see. Hey, what's your son doing now? He's on his way to the hospital in the next town. My father knows a doctor who works there, and I'm going to see him. I'm also going to call my dad and see if he can come over later. I think he'll feel safer with his grandpa there. Is your son feeling okay? He's still in a lot of pain, but he's conscious, so I think he'll be okay. If it's too hard for him to go to the next town, he can come to our house. I'm fine now. I've already taken a cab, and I'll be at the hospital in the next town in a few minutes. I see. I'm worried about your son. If you need any help, don't hesitate to tell me. I'll help you as much as I can. Earlier, you said he'd get better after sleeping, but now you're suddenly changing your attitude. Of course, I'm worried because he's the director's grandson. If it wasn't the director's grandson, you wouldn't give a damn, would you? I didn't say that. I think human life is equal. What a joke. Please, I don't want you to tell the director about this time. Do you think he'll just say, yes, I understand? Are you still going to tell him? Isn't it obvious? If I continue to hire you, other patients will have a bad experience. It would be terrible if you cost lives that could have been saved because of you. I'm sorry, I'll be careful from now on. It's too late for that now. I'm sure my father will talk to you personally in the near future, so please be prepared. Oh no. A few days later, Tracy, please don't fire me. I want to continue working at that hospital. I don't need you to tell me that. Then can you please ask the director to rescind the firing? I don't want to. I also think that people like you should leave the hospital. If you want to work at the hospital so badly, why don't you work at another hospital? I'm sure there are plenty of places that are offering jobs. No, I don't want to. I liked this hospital. They treat me well, the work is easy, and the pay is good. I don't want to lose my status of working at a celebrity hospital. I will not be rude to patients from now on, so please rescind your firing. I'm telling you now, it seems that Nadia's firing has been in the works for a long time. Huh? You mean they knew that I was refusing to accept poor-looking patients? Nadia-san, it seems that your attitude towards work was also very bad. Huh? Not only did she turn away patients who looked poor, but she also kept looking at her phone even when she was working. She would also spend most of her time in the smoking area instead of working during the day. You also seem to have been scared to death of the younger staff members when they came in. I've heard reports that several staff members have quit because of you. A number of them complained to my father about you. So, he's been doing a lot of research on you. That sucks. So I'll never work at this hospital again. No. He's so well connected, it might be hard to get a job at another hospital. That's not good. I've never worked anywhere else except as a receptionist. So, it's impossible for me to work anywhere else, he says. I don't think you have to force yourself to work there, do you? You have a wealthy husband who works for a big company, don't you? It's true that thanks to my husband, I am able to live without any inconvenience, but money is tight. Could it be because you are paying tribute to a young man? What? How did you know? Nadia, you're married, but it looks like you gave your contact information to a male doctor at work. My husband once told me he was surprised when he checked his pocket and found Miss Nadia's contact information in there. What? Dr. Smith, did you notice that? Of course I did, but my husband is such a loving man that it embarrassed me, so he threw it away as soon as he found it. I'm so disappointed. I can't believe I lost to Tracy. I mean, are you okay doing this to your husband? Because I wanted to marry a doctor. Don't tell me that's the reason you started working at the hospital was to marry a doctor. No, it wasn't. At first, I applied for the job purely because I wanted to work at a celebrity hospital. But my husband's company was going down in performance and his salary was decreasing. So, I thought it would be a good time to find my next partner. So I gave him my contact information. I thought that if he was a doctor, he'd make more money than my husband, and having a job in the hospital would be very strong. I can't believe it. Who do you think your husband is? But no one took me seriously. The people Nadia gave her contacts were all doctors in their 20s, except for my husband, right? How could a young man be interested in an old lady? Old lady is a rude word. I'm a receptionist, so I'm confident in my looks. But no one took you seriously, did they? Wait a minute. How do you know so much about this? I'm sure I haven't told anyone that I've been going to the hostess. It's pretty well known around my mom's friends. Oh, that's right. A friend of my mom's happened to see Nadia going into a host club. I guess it must have spread quickly because her friend is a gossipy person. Could it be Violet? Yes, she seems to work at a store in the area, and she saw you enter the host club many times. I was so surprised when I saw the pictures of the proof on the group line. What's that? I was too embarrassed to tell her I was addicted to hosts. I mean, what's a group line? I've never heard anything about it. Of course, I couldn't gossip about you on a group line where Nadia is. You mean they created a group to spread rumors about me on purpose? I can't believe it. What you're doing is childish. No, it's not. That group has been around for a long time. Huh? I'm going to take this opportunity to say that I and the rest of my mom friends were sick and tired of you, Nadia. So when we made plans for lunches or trips, we decided to discuss them in this group so that you wouldn't find out. I was wondering why the number of lunch meetings had suddenly decreased a while ago. Well, yeah. Why do you act like such a junior high school girl? You haven't done anything to be ostracized. I knew Nadia wouldn't be aware of it. Just like you did with me, Nadia, you were mercilessly laughing out at those you considered poorer than you. You called me poor and made fun of me. You tried to exclude my children from her family. On one of the worst occasions, you even invited her on a trip and left her behind. You mean Miss Peterson, right? I didn't like her because she was so plain looking. Her clothes were always so plain. It's wrong to exclude someone for that reason. Besides, Miss Peterson is not as poor as you think she is. In fact, I think she's richer than you are. Huh? Is that a lie? She was working because her husband's salary was low. She wasn't working because her husband's salary was low. She was working because she loved her job. Is that so? She runs her own business and earns close to $1 million a month. Huh? $1 million? I've seen that from many of your friends who you've looked down on. In fact, I bet many of them make more money than you do. Our kindergarten is a private school, so there are many wealthy families. I didn't know that. I'm ashamed of myself for making fun of them. It's too late for that now. What? What do you mean? We're not going to get involved with Miss Nadia anymore. That's a lie. You keep mouthing us and disrespecting us every time, you know? We're sick of it. I'm sorry, I don't care about the other moms, but at least be friendly with me, Tracy. Why? Well, you are the director's daughter. You're just trying to make up with me and get me to work for you again, aren't you? I'm sorry, but you can't work at that hospital no matter what they say. Oh no, but I can't lose my money. Actually, I'm also in debt. Debts? You made them at a host club? Yeah. They offered me a trip if I made number 1, so I did a 3 million tower. After that, I put in a couple of bottles of expensive champagne, so I was almost 4 million in debt. I paid it off little by little from my salary, but when I lost my income, I wouldn't be able to pay back my debts. Of course, I couldn't tell my husband that I got into debt by hosting. It's absolutely hopeless. If you were so kind, Tracy, you would help me, wouldn't you? I'm not open-minded enough to help someone who put my child in danger. But your child survived, right? Sort of. Thanks to the doctors at the hospital in the next town over. He was taken care of right away, and he's out of harm's way. But they also said that if there had been a little delay, he might have lost his life, right? Oh, that's right. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I'm going to have to cut you off like I did with all my other mommy friends. Wait a minute. I apologize for your child and for all the times I've made fun of you, so forgive me. How can I forgive you? I think people like you, Nadia, need to fall for once and for all. Well then, I'll block your line too. Goodbye. After that, Nadia was fired from the workplace of her dreams and had to leave the company. Her husband asked her why she was fired, and when she had no choice but to tell him the truth, he found her behavior so appalling that he was completely disgusted with her. He also found out that she had been paying tribute to a host and had debts, and they divorced shortly afterwards. Her ex-husband, who was financially strong, was given custody of the children, and Nadia had to quietly move out of the house. After that, she moved to a shabby apartment and started working part-time. But she could not stop going to the hostels, and her debts seemed to snowball. Rumors circulated that she had borrowed money from some shady places, and she has been missing for some time. I don't know where she is or what she's doing, but I am sure she is living a hard life, and she deserved it.